Hi everyone, this is Elle with the Michigan Music Alliance, and we have some really cool guests tonight. So I'm very excited to get started with our B-side social media session. We do this once a month on a Monday night at 7 p.m. and we pick a specific topic that you guys want to focus on. We dig into it a little bit, and it's a different experience every time because we have a different all-star panel. And since we've gone virtual due to COVID, the nice thing is we've got people joining us from all over the United States right now, which is a nice perk. So we're excited to introduce them. Keep an eye out. We've got, I believe, 4 more sessions this season. So we have publishing and copyright in February, and then we have promotion in March, which is going to be really radio-centric. So I'd encourage you to check all of those out. And then to finish off the season, our most popular session is the festival session, and that's going to be in April this year. And we have most of the major festivals in Michigan coming over to talk about what they're doing to combat COVID this year and what 2021 is going to look like for them. So we're really excited about that. But without further ado, tonight's going to be all about what you guys want to know. So feel free to drop anything, questions, problems, comments, suggestions in the comments. So we have a live feed on Facebook and then also on Crowdcast here. So go ahead and drop any questions that you have as people are talking and as things come up, and we'll make sure all of those get answered for you. So Amber, do you want to start things off by introducing yourself?
Sure. Can you guys hear me? Everybody good? So I'm Amber Beist. I have out-of-the-box management, and I manage several artists in the state. I would say my specialty is probably marketing. So if you've got questions on how to level up from where you are, that's something I can probably speak to a little bit. I'm really glad to be here tonight, and I really miss all you guys in the live shows and seeing everybody on the road. So thanks for having me.
Great. We'll go with the ladies first. So Liz, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do and where you're tuning in from tonight?
Sure. I'm Liz. I have a company called Windsong Entertainment, an artist management, social media, and consulting company. We mainly represent nice songwriters, as I say, Stephen Bishop, Jimmy Webb, Jack Kempton, all people who kind of just wrote the soundtrack to most of our lives, and they're just amazing people. We also do social media management for artists, hotels, based in LA. And we also do marketing, websites, pretty much everything in-house besides a record label. But we pretty much do everything in the industry. We also work with younger artists as well. And it's been about 10 years, so it's been fun.
Nice. Let's go down to Michael here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Manacom. I'm based in Los Angeles. I spent over 10 years in New York, and I'm currently a music journalist, and I do branding and marketing for various artists, and sometimes some record labels hire me, or some artists will hire me to do artist bios, press releases, things like that. But I've interviewed a range of talent from Bruno Mars to Florence and the Machine to Motley Crue and Kygo, a nice range there. And I previously worked at SAG-AFTRA, as well as Billboard and MIDEM. I love music festivals. Like Chad said, I cannot wait for them to come back, and it's great to be here. Ask away on all the questions for any of the panelists. We're here for you.
Great. Well, I'll take it from there. I'm coming to you from Syracuse, New York. My name is Oesterle, and I've been with Syracuse University for, I guess, the last 21 years. I was here for a master's and then a Ph.D. and just stuck around and kept teaching. So as part of that process, I also started a record label and artist management company, and then built out much of the coursework that we have for the Bandier program, which is a specialized music business undergraduate program here in Syracuse. And one of the classes that I built out in 2008 was really dedicated to social media and the music business in particular. So I'm really excited about this tonight, and I can't wait to chat a little bit more about TikTok.
Ooh. Well, let's kind of, on that note of TikTok, let's start there, because I know that's one really big new thing that happened in 2020. At least I wasn't really aware of it until quarantine. I know that's changed a lot of people's social media game and online presence. What specifically about TikTok is it that grabbed hold of everybody and everything?
I'll start if you want. I would say I'm always looking for a platform that will introduce me to new artists. And sometimes it's Twitter, sometimes it's blogs. I think in 2020, if there was anything good to come out of that year and a trend that I would see continuing in 2021, that would be TikTok. I think we could probably all agree that that dog face guy who's making so much money right now, I bet, from that huge reinvigorated Dreams video he did holding the cranberry juice. I don't even need to say what brand because everybody probably knows. That brought back a 1977 Fleetwood Mac song. And, I don't know if that song was even near the charts in previous several years, but it was definitely made a huge impact. I would also say Doja Cat is an artist that I probably wouldn't know too much about, and Saweetie, who had that tap in song. I just think there were so many great artists that broke through or that you were able to tap into.
Yeah, for me, I think the
That's a
algorithm.
really good point.
Is like
Go ahead, Olaf. I was just gonna.
The algorithm on TikTok really serves up content that makes that app much more sticky compared to other social platforms. So as you're scrolling through, you're being served content that TikTok knows you're going to like. And so 9 out of 10 videos that you see, you're into. And the time spent on the app gives everyone the opportunity to get to know some of these artists and then, do their own interpretation of the trends that are going around. And so these trending songs can take artists from literally their bedroom to, 1 million streams on, Apple or Spotify in a matter of weeks. And so that has been really exciting, especially for the independent musicians.
I was just on a sync call a couple of weeks ago, and one of the things that he mentioned was that he's scouring TikTok for those sync songs, and I thought that was really interesting. So yes, but I also say with TikTok, the one thing about it, and I think you actually showed me this back when you first started talking to me about TikTok. One of the really interesting things is an artist can spend like 6 months trying to build a Facebook profile and build their audience. And with TikTok, it's so much faster. Like it was crazy fast, and so that was a plus, obviously, is building that base fast.
To Amber's point, I'm going to add on to building fast. So my sister Olivia was like, "Oh, look at TikTok. She's 18." So, which is great. It's a great age to just kind of like harvest information from her brain. And she's like, "I want to get famous on TikTok." I said, "Well," she was on Triller for a while. If anyone's ever heard of Triller, it's kind of like TikTok, but for music. I highly recommend you check it out as well. And I gave her some organic tips, and she got 30,000 followers in about a week. And she gave that information to her friend Lauren. Now, her friend Lauren is the same age. In 6 months, she got 1 million followers from dancing in her living room with different Beanie Babies making up music. I'm not kidding. Seriously. Over 1 million, and she just signed a record deal. And I'm like, what? It's just insane, And I have artists who are younger, and I say, do something really weird and organic. I just had an artist break over 1 million views. He was in his kitchen, and his mother was baking. Baking cookies or something, and you hear the beat, and he just starts playing guitar. It got over 1 million views because it was funny and organic. So if you're really looking to expand your music and you're okay with being in front of the camera, like I'm not, I started trying it out. I posted pictures of my pets. Okay, that's cool. No one's gonna care. But if you're really okay with being at the forefront and really giving it your all, you can make headway very, very quickly and also make some money from it.
I know one of the questions that I keep getting when TikTok is brought up is like, oh, do we really have to? It's like the new fad. I'm not 18. So how do you think musicians can capture the movement of TikTok if it maybe is a completely new thing to them? I mean, it's new to everybody, but what would you say to someone who might be dragging their feet about it just because they think it might be a fad? What's your advice to them? Anybody?
I'll jump in. So I think we have to take one step back from just looking at TikTok as a fad and look at the entire social landscape. Because when we're looking at artists, every artist has a story arc that will include studio, it eventually will include live. There's a lot of personal experiences that you can have, and you have to take a look at how you're going to really share that story over all of your platforms. There's Facebook is built for some content, YouTube is built for longer content. You want these short 15 to 30 second glimpses into an artist's life through TikTok. And, I've heard plenty of artists say, I don't have the time to take that on. And I would counter with, how long does it truly take for you to map out what you would do on TikTok over the course of a week? What are those anchor points that you're going to have? Is there a writing session? Is there a studio session? That's going to be something you should TikTok, and then you can fill in the rest of the week with additional content. We're in an age where we have to embrace social. It's a direct connection to our fans. And we have 800 million people on TikTok right now. They're forecasting this to be 1.2 billion people by the end of the coming year, well, 2021 now. And, there's an audience for everybody on this platform.
Yeah, I think one thing I'm going to add to that is, for the artist, it's not necessarily like you have to sit down and make up things to do, which I think we all think we do. We have to be funny. We think we have to be clever. And really, I don't think we have to do that. I think you have to do whatever you do in your normal everyday life. You're just going to, you're going to find that one, like cooking. I cook my breakfast. I make a milkshake for breakfast. Okay, well, make the milkshake in front of everybody and tell them the recipe, whatever. You don't have to brainstorm cool shit to do. You just literally do your life, and you broadcast a couple pieces of it. And you can speak to that a million times over, because that's what you do all day long. I think it's more the thing that is scary is having to post more than once a day, or having to post every single day. That's what I get the kickback. I've got an artist who's like, I'm not posting on all these medias every single day. So how do you talk about how to stay consistent and not be daily, I guess?
I'll jump in. I think that this is just another platform that people complained for months and years that they didn't want to join a Facebook platform, Twitter, whatever it is. And there is something for everyone on TikTok. It depends what you're looking for. I mean, there are phenomenal chefs and people that are cooking nothing special, but oh, wow, I could have made that so easily with 4 ingredients. Are you kidding me? But it doesn't matter if it's food or music or comedy. I mean, but going back to the theme of music, you can create memorable and meaningful content that isn't necessarily 100% music. You can make it lifestyle. You can incorporate other things and still have it be a part of a musician or a band's profile, or their life, or what's going on. I know I just worked on a project with Joss Stone, and I know that she has a cooking show right now that she does on Facebook. I know we're mostly talking about TikTok at the moment, but in a year when she probably couldn't tour much up till about March 2020, I think her cooking show is doing super well, and she's engaging with fans and probably gaining new ones, because she's also, I think, pregnant, so she's probably tapping into the whole mommy blog and mommy audience, and probably dads too. So it doesn't even have to be all about music, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about social media and about what's going on right now with TikTok.
Cool. I am gonna bring Kevin in, who's online now. We did get a question. I know TikTok had a lot of political stuff floating around it, especially at the beginning of the year. Can you expound on what you guys feel about the security element on TikTok, and then also a little bit of how people monetize that so far? Nicholas, James wants to know if you can expound on that, on what you said about
Yeah.
that, Liz.
So I test everything out with people who are like my guinea pig. A lot of my artists, I have 2 artists who are like the nicest people in the world, and they'll do anything I ask, which is amazing. They're my guinea pigs for everybody else. It's awesome. I'm like, we're doing this tomorrow. And they're like, okay. I'm like, great. So also my sister, and I have an artist that I launched on TikTok, and we're at over 100,000 views. And my sister, Olivia, her friend gets about 20 grand a post. And that's either directly from TikTok, because sometimes they'll put ads on her video and then she gets money from that, or she'll get sponsorship and things like that. And like my older artist who got 50, 60,000 followers, he gets like music gear. They say, if you're playing in a video, I want you using this pick or this guitar or this pedal or whatever. So it's very easy to make money from TikTok quickly. And this is in less than 2 months, I think, for my sister, 6 months for her friend Lauren, Ryn, Lauryn. And it's a pretty amazing platform. I'm not the type of person to really put myself out there. I just help other people do it. And I think TikTok is a great platform. It's kind of like Vine in a way. It kind of took Vine and made it more addictive, but longer, 15 to 60 seconds. If you have an iPhone, great. Android, great. I highly recommend using a better camera or better content that I found. You can really get a cheap SLR. My company does photography, videography for artists on tour. You can get one under $600 if you really wanted to, and shoot amazing content, upload it. And also tags are really important. There's something called the For You page or FYP. I recommend don't doing that because it's kind of overpopulated. When you're posting your music or you're posting videos that don't have music, I highly recommend using viral songs. So you get, noticed a lot more. So you can make money relatively quickly. You just have to work really hard at it. Yeah.
Well, before we go to the next question, does anyone have anything to add about monetization?
Well, one thing with monetization, I'll just chime in. I've got 126,000 followers with my TikTok, and I am posting multiple times a day because I really want just a volume of videos out there. So as I get more viewers, they're going to go back and watch some of my older content as well. I'm basically paying my student loans via the payments I get from TikTok at only 126,000 followers. So it may seem daunting when you're just starting, but you can grow, like Liz said, really quickly. And your audience will far surpass what your expectations might be as long as you are dedicated.
It seems like solid advice in every avenue here. We had someone mention duets and using that as a way to start getting into TikTok. And then Justin wants to know what you guys think about. Typically, live music performance has been the primary way that a lot of our local musicians make their living. And once it's safe to do so, that again, he thinks that monetizing our online presence is still a viable way to do that. And what's the best platform to focus on?
I think before we move into that, because that's a whole
Loaded
fireball
question.
full of stuff. Hey, Alf, you want to talk real quick about the security issue with TikTok? Because that was one of the first things we talked about.
Absolutely. So with any one of the social platforms that we have, we're giving up access to where we're located. Facebook knows about us, Google knows about us, Microsoft knows about us. And I don't see there, any other security risks with TikTok that we're not already giving to Apple and every other platform already. So if you are risk averse, maybe social isn't where you're going to spend your time. But if you're using Google and you're using, your iPhone, you're being tracked anyway. So I don't share anything on TikTok that is sensitive in nature, and I don't share anything sensitive in nature on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter as well. And I think if we follow those best practices, we're fine. There was a lot of discussion about banning TikTok because it's quote unquote spying on us. But that tracking happens with every tech company.
I don't know, Alf. I know exactly where your camper's parked most of the time.
I do geolocate it, yes. I'll put a pin in it here and there. But, my I don't know, my real sensitive information isn't out there.
Just giving you shit.
And for those that are not following, I gave up my apartment 96 days ago and I bought an RV, and so I'm kind of documenting that process, living small.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
I'll answer the live music
So,
comment.
yeah, we tackle that one.
So I think, I'm not sure. I mean, I deal with live music for the last few years. I would tour 6 to 10 months out of the year. I would tour with every artist. I'm serious. I would have them all in sequence, or they would play together, and I just hop to everybody. And, you know, I spoke to our booking agents actually this morning, and for my older artists who are 60 and up, they're talking about 2023, like honestly. And there are other artists that they know who said, oh yeah, like spring 2021 or, you know, January 2022. They're lying. They are lying. It's not going to happen unless, you know, the vaccine really shows that it can help. It's honestly just not going to happen. For the younger artists, I have one artist who was in the band Busted. If you ever heard of it, it was the #2 band behind One Direction. He was the lead singer. They played Wembley 18 times, I believe, in 10 years. Pretty amazing. And we called up their promoter and said, hey, when are we going to be doing these big shows? Not happening. Not happening anytime soon. It's really, are people going to feel safe enough to go out on tour, you know, and actually sit in the seats and risk their lives for a show? I feel like a lot of people are pent up. Oh, I need to get out. I need to see live music. You know, is it worth risking your life? I don't think so. For me, it has to be safe for the artist first. Sorry, gonna be a little selfish there. It has to be safe for them, their band members, and their fans as well. When will it really come back? I mean, maybe late 2021 at the earliest. And online presence, right now I'm bulking up every single one of my artists' social media, because when it does come back, they're going to need to use that. That's the #1 thing. Facebook is great for bulking up the older generation. Instagram is kind of dying. I've seen it doesn't have that same thing that TikTok has. You know, once you go back on tour, it's going to be great to have all those fans. And see, the best place to do are somewhat back to normal. Yeah, I mean, I would keep doing live streams, or, you know, I just did a Zoom concert where I had an artist who was in the show, The Dukes of Hazzard. Anyone ever see that show? Yeah, I had never seen the show. I still have not seen an episode, and I refuse to after 3 years. And he's an artist. He's a really, really great guy, Tom Wopat. And we did a show. We did 4 shows. We did Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and he pre-recorded the entire thing. And he just sat there in the same outfit. Okay, live streaming with everybody, and I just popped it up on the screen like it was real, and then I switched him into the screen, and they were talking to him, Q&A. He made bank on that. I'm telling you, if you can do a live stream, rehearse it, pre-record it. Right now we just did 3 pre-recorded videos, and they're being streamed live. You can actually do that and make money on it. So I highly recommend social ads, you know, Facebook, Google ads. Really start learning. It's not hard to learn. I do that all the time. I do seminars about it. And for $50, $100 a month, you can get a lot of people coming to your page and actually buy your merchandise or watch you online. You can.
Amber, do you want to dig into live streaming a little bit? I know that we've had a lot of conversations about live streaming.
Yeah, okay, Liz, don't hate me. I'm going to disagree with about half of that. And I'm not for any other reason than I think we have different artists. And I think we have to look at the artist themselves as what really works and doesn't, and especially in this craziness that we're in. I would say I'm going to use the Accidentals for a minute, just because they do a shit ton of live streaming and they make money. I would say one of the things, I'm going to go back real quick to TikTok, because Olaf a couple months ago and I got together and we put them on TikTok, and we also put them on Instagram lives. And their Instagram live grew twice as fast as their TikTok, although TikTok took off really fast. I was shocked. And they had over 100,000 views on several of their videos, you know, in the first week or 2. So that was pretty exciting. But
how old are your artists?
So that particular group are all 23 to 25.
Yeah, I'm dealing with 70-year-old. Big difference.
It is. And also Tom is like an icon. So,
I love him.
so the fact that he's doing a live stream and making money is not surprising because he already had a following. So
He did.
I have some artists that don't have followings yet, and then I have artists who have great online followings. So it just depends. And also, Chad made a little comment in here before, and no, it was not May that doesn't like to do social media. I just want to make sure she knows that I did not say that on live TV. It's actually Steffi, who would rather not. And right, Elle, she would rather not put herself. She feels like it's selling out. And I completely understand that. She's an incredible artist. Steffi James is an incredible artist out of Detroit. But she absolutely hates, buy this, look at me, do this, find a thing. She hates it.
Should have been born in like the 70s. She's truly probably the one person I know who was born in the wrong generation.
She totally was. But that's what makes her unique. And that's why we love her. And Elle actually helps her do most of her social media. And and she'll send me a note in the middle of the night, like, like, I can't get her to post it. But I give her credit because she doesn't want to present herself like, look at me. And so I get that. But in that case, we have to figure out from that artist's standpoint, how can we use that as a shtick? I mean, that's marketing. If she wants to be mysterious, then that's her shtick, and we figure out how to do that for her. So a lot of that is, this last week, I saw all of her numbers go spike through the roof, and it's because another artist put it all over their site. This is an amazing new artist. Go see this artist. So collaboration is everything, I think, in this business. That's a big piece that we should be talking about a million times, because all of us have time right now. We all have empty, what are we going to, what are we trying to, we're not telling people about our shows right now. So we've got space, marketing space there on all of our socials that we could be helping each other out. So I think collaboration is the key. But I want to go back and answer this live stream thing real quick. It's both. When we get back out there, and I'm not going to try to take a guess on when it is, because I'm already booking my artists for September of this year. So if that gets foobarred, I'm going to be pissed. So let's be honest. I've got festivals booking them right now. And if festivals are telling me that August and September is going to happen, then I'm going to try to believe that, at least for the moment. And I'll probably be, my booking agent will probably be killing me going into the new year, having to rebook something for the 5th time. But, that's where I'm at. So I'm pushing for August, September for some outdoor shows. And then right now, the Accidentals are releasing 2 albums back to back, and they're hoping to tour it in October. So you guys all cross your fingers for me, because this people have been waiting 3 years for this album. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to tour it. I think it's both. For the first part of that is, if we come back, is it going to be important to still live stream? And I think yes. Like venues like the Arc, they've spent about $50,000 setting up their venue for live streams right now. And they're doing those live from the Arcs, which the Accidentals are doing Ann Arbor Folk Festival at the end of the month from live. They're the only band live from the Arc stage. And all that was put together so that when live comes back, if we're at half cap or quarter cap, or even if we're full, there's people like me. I'm immunocompromised, and I toured for the last 8 years with my bands, and I can't do that anymore. Exactly what you're saying, Liz. I've been on the road too, and I can't do that anymore. And being immunocompromised is scary. And so I'm sitting there going, when's the next time I'm going to get to a show? It won't be the festivals in the summer. So I hear you 100%. But I do think that there are people who are going to go, and they're going to fill up those rooms, and they're going to fill up those festivals the minute they're allowed to go. The minute that the state says you can do this, they're going to do it. And there's going to be bands that are going to play it. There already are. And so I think that there's both. There's also going to be live streams from those venues who have spent a ton of money, their PPP money, getting set up for that, so that when live comes back, they can still offer that to people like me, thank God. And I think by then, hopefully, we'll have things geo-ticketed so that we can let our artists play that without it being offered to every single state. So what's the point of touring at that point? It's open to everybody. So I'm looking at a lot of these platforms who are really working hard on geo-ticketing, Crowdcast being one of them. We use this platform all the time. So that's my answer on that.
Do you guys want to weigh in on that?
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful, like Amber said, that some touring will come back in the fall. I don't know what kind of crowd capacity, but I think there could be some that comes back. I'm hopeful about it. But in the meantime, I don't think fans or artists should be afraid of some live streams right now. I've seen over a handful of them, and they have glitches and delays and a few different things pop up. But you better believe these companies, management, record labels, artists, they're putting a lot of money and a lot of time into these. They're putting proper rehearsal time. They're checking the lighting. There's some really fantastic technology happening, new platforms coming out. So it's not for everyone, but you could give it a try and give it a chance. And some live streams you will like, and some you won't like, and some will be better than others. But it is a great time to take advantage of some of the different apps and platforms that are out there. So if you can't do it yourself as an artist, you might want to hire somebody or get an assistant or an intern that is happy to tap into this or might already be aware of it. And I'm sure Ulf knows a bunch about it too.
I've got the perspective that I do think everyone should be live streaming right now in some capacity. Partially because when we look at some of the trends that are happening globally with live streams, we're seeing more and more live stream merch sales. And merch being an integral part of the bottom line for a band, you got to start selling those T-shirts again, and you can do shorter runs for special events. And so that needs to happen for everyone. And we're not making the ticket money at the door. How else are we going to monetize? And so that live stream merch is coming, and I think we all need to be prepared for that. Outside of that, I think we have to look at some of the other people that have done really, really great work in live streaming with their artists. And I'll give a tip of the cap to Randy Nichols from Force Media Management, who he manages Under Oath, and they did a series of full production shows that were ticketed and went over very, very well. He did the same with the starting line. They always do a holiday show, another one with them. And there's different strategies that you can play with when we're talking about these live shows. Sometimes you'll see the first 2 or 3 songs that are free, and you hook people in, and then they'll pay for the rest of the show. And so little strategies like that may help you when it comes time to people ponying up a few bucks to stick around for that full live stream. But I do think it's important.
Hey, Kevin.
There he is. For those of you who are just joining us, like Kevin, we're talking about social media. And speaking of social media and the internet and all that jazz, ours wasn't working, but here he is. Kevin, do you want to introduce yourself real quick and we'll see if we can hear you?
Yeah, that would be lovely. Can you hear me?
We can, loud and clear.
All right. After a brief period of technical difficulties, I have arrived, and I'm grateful to be here with all of you. It seems I'm in the nexus of the universe, on the road, but not quite on the road. My name is Kevin Lamb. The world knows me as 6'7 Kevin. My company is Good Sound. I do talent management and promotion. Work with a lot of Michigan bands, a lot of Michigan festivals. I got into it by covering music. I wrote about music and photographed live music for the last 6 years now. I still do, but that path led me to the Parliament Room at Otis Supply in Detroit, where I was the venue manager, marketing director, house photographer, and social media, et cetera, et cetera. After a nice year and a half there, including a final month where we did 30 shows in 30 days, during which I lived next door and provided the extended green room and accommodation for artists on the road. At that time, I started working with artists. The gentleman that I'm currently on tour, yes, that is right, on the Human Kindness tour with Dixon's Violin, he said, I have an off day and I find myself in Ferndale, where my friend Kevin Lamb works. I thought I'd go up and say hello to him. Then I discovered Kevin didn't work there anymore. Once I got done pouting, I realized I could talk to Kevin. 2 days later, Dixon and I met. At that time, he was having trouble breaking from the festival scene. He plays in festivals all around North America, but I was having trouble breaking into venues. He asked me if I could help him in that regard. That was the first artist I started working with. Now I represent, maybe 20 to 30, but you guys know what this year has been. So he's the only one that's performing. since mid-June. We've been playing in backyards, we've been playing in parks, we've been playing in urban gardens, we've been playing in alternative green spaces, at first all around Michigan. But then winter came, and winter is a difficult place to play outside any instrument, let alone a violin. So with a little bit of a following and social media, we just completed the 5th weekend of tour in Florida. Some cities and markets he had played before, other markets were for the first time. All socially distanced, limited capacity. There's a formula to determine safe social distancing based on square footage. Google Maps satellite is a fascinating tool in this time of our lives. And, that kind of brings you up to speed where I am, I think.
Awesome. Well, thanks for jumping in. We've talked about TikTok. We've talked about changes in 2020 and how social media has played a role in that. And we were talking a little bit about when is live music coming back and how artists can increase their social media now to help give them an edge up for when that does happen. So as I said, we were talking about TikTok a little bit, and then someone mentioned Instagram Reels and Instagram Live. I know one question I have selfishly is, especially you guys who are on TikTok, Instagram Reels and TikTok, what's the difference? What should I be investing my time in? And what's your personal favorite to use and why?
Ulf and I are
So
having a
sorry.
standoff.
Normally everyone's talking at once, but we got 3 guys and 3 girls now, so it really evens it out. Michael, do you want to weigh in on Instagram platform versus TikTok for live streaming and Reels?
Well, I would just say, sure. I would say that for me, it's more of a user experience. I don't post so much on TikTok. For me, TikTok is more of an exploratory tool, and I enjoy very much sending the video clips to different people. And I think that's one of the benefits of TikTok, that you can actually text them to people. I'm sure there's a way to do it on Instagram. It's mostly through messaging, but I'm sure there's some other way that I don't know. But and I do send things to people via Instagram, but I think it's a lot more of sending things, video clips of TikTok to people, and that's why I think it's exploding, because of the sharing features. But just for the sake of Instagram Reels, I like being able to watch a 10-second clip or whatever it shows you before you have to tap it and then watch the longer version of the video. Obviously TikTok is a limited amount of time for the video, but on Reels or on the Instagram videos, you could have a much longer piece. So if I'm watching a performance of a song, I might actually watch the whole thing. So I think it's just a different experience, and I think that you have a different fan base as well on Instagram that you do on TikTok. So that's what I would say.
I'll take this from here. I think my strategy when we're looking at Reels versus TikTok, I'm using Reels as sort of that secondary place to post. So when I've got a TikTok that really takes off, then I'm taking that TikTok video with the TikTok tags and everything, and I'm uploading it to Reels. There are some people that will absolutely craft individualized content for Reels, but I'm using it in a very different way in that respect, because of just the volume that I'm pumping out there. For an artist, you have the native files in many cases, and you can edit things if you want to for each of those. But a reel, you're getting 30 seconds, and some of the TikToks I'll do are a minute, and so that would mean that's a story post, or on your wall, as opposed to the reel. And so you find the right place based on the length of that content. I'm still a TikTok evangelist, advocate. Call me what you like. That's the platform in my eyes.
I think access too is really important, because I'm sorry, did you have something else you wanted?
No, go ahead.
I just think access is really important, because when you're in Instagram, all your things are right there. Your Instagram, you're posting, you've got your live, your stories, your reels. it's all right there. Versus kind of TikTok's its own thing. TikTok too, but TikTok's its own thing. So one of the things when you get a band interested in trying out these platforms, it's kind of nice. One of the things we did with the acts is Katie's got her own thing on Insta Live where she posts once a day, a playlist basically of Spotify songs. And in that every single day she sews something on a shirt and it's to a song, and that song becomes a playlist after 30 days or whatever. It's all in a playlist. So Sav does the same thing, but she does it on TikTok, and she does rollerblading. And so she rollerblades to a song that becomes a playlist, and that's her mental health piece. So each of them have their own thing on different platforms because we wanted to see what takes off or what works. And it's really interesting that for them, the lives on Insta worked quicker, faster, better than the TikTok, because I think TikTok needs more posts daily than Insta. And would you agree with that? I mean, Insta, you could do one a day and it's working really well, whereas TikTok, I feel like it needs multiple a day.
Yes, absolutely agree with you on that one.
Interesting. I'm glad you validated that because it's been quite an experiment. Careful on the ice, Savia, true. So
one other thing that we should.
Go.
I'll finish after you. I would say one other differentiator that we have is with the live stream. In the UK, you can bring other users in to do a live stream together on TikTok, but you don't have that feature here in the US right now. Whereas on Instagram Lives, you can bring in multiple parties. And so that's a different way to use the platform, even though in different parts of the world it's the same service. Here in the States, we don't have that.
I would say I typically use Instagram with my artists to push to Spotify. That's my whole goal with Instagram. And I usually do it in the stories where, it's a story with a swipe up to Spotify. But if you don't have enough following, then you can't quite do that yet unless you're paying for it. So I don't know if that's where I started working with Toned was to pay for those swipe ups to Spotify and started seeing that movement of the Spotify growing. But that's a whole nother conversation. But just the difference between the Spotify and the Instagram and the TikTok, you can't do that with TikTok, I guess, as I can't use that really to push in the same way as I can with Insta. That would be my biggest thing, is that I'm using Instagram as a tool to grow a DSP. So that's makes it a little different.
How many of you guys have used Toned so far? Two so far? So I know that's a fairly new thing to me, and I recently discovered that I can also integrate it with sports, and it's not just a music thing, and you can use it for all types of things. And it integrates with large-scale ticketing platforms and all kinds of stuff. But Toned is really new for, I think, artists on a local level who maybe haven't taken a look at their social media until they had the time during quarantine. Do you want to explain what Toned is very briefly and what it's done for your art?
Sure. So Toned's a marketing platform. That's it. They have playbooks. So basically a playbook can be where you're trying to market, you want to grow your Facebook, you want to grow your Spotify, you want to grow your Instagram, whatever it is you're trying to grow, you can use Toned to do that. And they'll help you figure out how to grow those particular things. And I don't know if you did the same intake I did. I'm sure you did, I did it with Sam. At Toned, they'll actually assign you somebody that will help you kind of walk through it that first time that you use it. And then therefore after, you can also call him in the middle of the night and beg forgiveness for something. But I love it. I've actually used it for all my artists. It's good to an extent. My personal opinion is it's good for about 6 months, and then you need to take a break from it. That seemed to be about as far as the growth I could get out of it. And then at that point, we just took a break from it. Do you have thoughts on that, Ulf?
Yeah, very, very Yeah, very, very similar experience. I was working with Mike Powell and Stephen Douglas Wolf, two artists that I managed, and it was that 6 month growth pattern for them before things kind of slowed down a little bit, and they certainly weren't doing the volume as some of the artists that you were working with, but you could kind of see that kind of the arc. It rose and then petered off a little bit. But it's absolutely something for an emerging artist to jump on and embrace it. Go through the walkthrough and understand the platform, because you want to have as many tools at your disposal as you're growing, and that's one that's definitely worth having in the toolkit.
ToneDen is very visual content heavy. So if you've got video content, that's really the best way to use that platform. And a lot of times we'll make video content just for ToneDen. And also, I don't know if you guys have ever used Canva before, but Canva is now connected to ToneDen, where you can actually build out a marketing visual, I guess you could say, that helps people understand what you want them to do in your marketing. So it's really great. Yeah. And if you haven't used Canva, get in and check it out. They're doing some really fun stuff in there right now. I was just in there yesterday. Actually just made a CD cover in Canva, which is hilarious. And they have an MP4 product in Canva where you can create, an artwork, piece of art, and then you can click MP4 and it will, in one of 20 ways, it'll show you how it was pieced together, or it'll deconstruct it, or it's really fun. So if you guys haven't been on there, check Canva out. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, one thing that I know a lot of people struggle with is juggling multiple platforms. And sometimes there are different things. Like Hootsuite, for example, gets pushed to artists a lot. We see it on ads all the time to help multiple, different platforms all have the same content going out and things like that. And for people who maybe want to be on all the platforms, but maybe they're just comfortable with Facebook or just comfortable with Instagram or something like that, do you guys have any tips or tricks for getting yourself more comfortable with all of the platforms or different tools to help you be on top of it? And this is whoever, jump in, go for it.
Okay, man. Also, Chad, who said, meanwhile, the old people who buy CDs are back on Facebook. Don't knock that, okay? My artists make bank. You have I'm fulfilling orders that I shouldn't be. I let go of my interns, my staff. I'm fulfilling like 30 to 50 orders per artist a day. CDs, vinyl has come back. Vinyl has come back. Signed, merch. They are buying like hotcakes. Just crazy. So don't knock that. To get better on Facebook, Instagram really takes practice. Honestly, I think that's how all of us kind of got integrated into Facebook and learned and do Facebook ads and things like that. I got a master's degree in music business. Did that help? No. But my point is, there are a lot of free courses online that do Facebook ads, learning about Facebook, very interactive, online interviews, and, a lot of platforms where you can use to get help. So just type in, how do I do a Facebook ad? There are podcasts that talk about it. There are videos on YouTube. So if you spend the time, an hour a day learning, you'll become an expert and you'll be able to boost those ads. Like I have an artist right now who he started at 6,000. Now we're at 42 in 6 months. Because I said I need original content that's not been anywhere else, very exclusive. I want to boost it. It has to be organic. It has to be something that you're really doing and something that your fans, I know that they will love. And we boosted it in 6 months. We spent about $200 a month. So he had a very low budget. You can do it anywhere from $50, $200. At most, you have the budget, you can gain. I know I spent one time 30 grand in a year for an artist, and we got 250,000 followers on Facebook. So just think about that. So you can really target if you let me explain. So if your demographic is, I always tell people, if you're an artist and you're like, I want to find my fans, get a piece of paper, say, how old are they? What do they look like? Where do they live? Also, if you go on Spotify, on the artist.spotify.com, you can look on the back and see where they're located, all your streamers and everything. We also base off of that on where we tour. But if you go on there and you say, okay, my demographic, they're 25 years old, they live in Phoenix, Arizona, they're a college student and they like to drink orange juice. I don't know. I can find them. So if you target very, very small, find a little niche audience, you can get followers very, very quickly. So, and also don't knock CDs.
I want to chime in too, because this kind of relates back to tone deaf. And if all of that was overwhelming and you're like, I don't know how to create a Facebook audience, that's something that tone deaf can do for you. And for example, Max Lockwood, if we were going to do you, we would take everybody who likes Tom Petty and in our area, and then we would push them to the Insider's Facebook page, right? Because you know that that's going to be a fit already. And Tone Deaf has the capability to do that automatically, so you don't have to learn all of the things before you're ready. I mean, we encourage you to learn all of the things, but if you want to kind of see what Liz is saying in action and the results of that before you really are like, well, I can do that myself and maybe do it better. That's kind of an easy way to get your feet in the water and check it out. So another tone deaf, I guess.
To Elle's point, yeah, I mean, I've heard of Tone Deaf, I've heard of other platforms. I'm just weird like that. I like doing everything manually because I need to be perfect. It has to be perfect. My artists are perfectionists. All artists want to do is be the artist. They want to sing, they want to write. That's all they want. Go on stage. I can take care of the business. And with ads, you really have to hunker down and really learn. And once you target that audience and you target people, you can make a lot of money doing it that way. And like I said, spend $50, try it out. Spend 25, spend 15, spend whatever you can afford. Never ever spend more than you can afford. Don't do that until you're really making the money.
Yeah, I wouldn't knock Facebook either. Oh, Amber, do you want to
go? Go ahead. Okay.
I was just going to say, I wouldn't knock Facebook either. I think there is an audience there, and it's built in for a lot of artists. It just depends on what kind of music and what. There's so many factors, but I discovered Teddy Swims, who was recently signed to, I think, Warner Records. I think last year or the year before at some point, just organically watching different YouTube videos, and his videos popped up. I don't know how, but I saw them, and when I interviewed him last year, he posted on his Facebook, and I wasn't super excited when he posted on his Facebook. It might have also been on his Twitter, but he ended up getting almost 900 likes and almost 100 shares, and that translates into a lot of eyeballs reading the article that I wrote. And so there's an audience for artists on all these platforms. It just depends.
I was just going to say on Tone Deaf, typically you start at like $5 a day. And the cool thing about that, just if you haven't used it before, is that you very much are in control of the ads. It isn't like they make an ad for you. You're in control of that ad making. They just help you do it. And then the really cool part is you have a dashboard, so you know whether it's working or not every day. You can look at that dashboard and you can pivot if it's not working. You can decide to change it up or go a different route. And sometimes, you're going to let it sit a minute or two, but it's a great way to have control over your own ad making. And I just wanted to add that really quick.
I also wanted to jump in because we just had a brief conversation and we talked about growth. We went from 6,000 to 50,000 or whatever. And growth is great, but you also want to be sure that you're measuring the engagement. Because if you're getting the same few people that are engaging with your content, but now you've got 8 times as many subscribers, your engagement just plummeted. So keeping track of that as one of those analytics is really important to see, are you actually connecting and are these true fans? Because it's one of those things where you might find that you have a ton of followers, but they don't really care what you're posting. You had one viral video and they followed, but they don't stick around for the rest of your content. So, it's really important to look at multiple factors when we're seeing, is this working?
I guess my first, I would encourage you to go sign into all of your artist pages. I think that's something that we forget to do. We haven't done. Spotify for artists, Apple for artists. Everybody's got an artist page. Facebook has, you can look at your insights there. And it's a great way to kind of look and see where can you do better. What's already working and what's not. And I didn't used to be a huge numbers person, and often I have a mutual friend, Jay Gilbert, who drives me nuts with the numbers. And so I've learned now how to actually best utilize those, which is such a great skill, that it's not something that was on my radar, 2 years ago. But with the COVID time that we have right now and everything being so virtual, we have to now know what works and what doesn't work, because I don't have a band touring out there, which is where everything works, So now we've got to figure out what does and what doesn't here in this space.
And if you do have access to Chartmetric will give you a lot of the back end analytics as well, and tie that to specific songs or albums that are coming out, and that's really where you can dive pretty deep and get nerdy. I mean, that's what I do as a college professor. We'll download these data sets and we'll take a look at an artist over the course of a year to show what's their growth day over day, month over month, week over week, and compare that with when the album drop was, when the single came out, what the ad campaign spent, and just really get into the numbers, because the data will tell you a whole lot when you know what to look for.
I just want to add one point about engagement. So I have, the artist went from 6,000 to 42,000 in 6 months. He's an engagement Nazi. I'm not kidding. Like every day, he's like, "Did you see I lost a follower?" And I'm like, "Calm down. It's gonna be okay." But you have to make sure you're getting new fans that are authentic, and never, and I mean everyone listen, never, ever buy followers. It will hurt you in the long run. Please don't. Please. I know it seems, oh my God, that guy has 80,000 followers. And you look, why did they only have 2 likes on Instagram? It's like, what? Don't do it. I know it seems like a really good thing to do, but it really will hurt you in the long run. It is cheap, which is scary. You can do it YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and it might look good for your friends, but are you really making money at the end of it? Are you really getting the exposure you deserve? No, you're feeding your own ego. So please don't do it.
So true. I know that a lot of people are setting goals for the year. It's a new year. Hopefully nothing like the last. And a lot of people want to level up this year on social media. And I think part of measuring success is setting some goals. So do you guys have any advice you would share as far as setting a realistic goal for the year and how to track that growth? Or can you share maybe what one of your artists has as their social media goal for the year or growth for the year?
I guess I'll jump in there. So I've got a baby band. I got a band who's got good growth already, and 2 bands that have good growth. What I'm looking at right now for the whole year, the number one goal is collaboration. And I know I said it earlier, but that really is true. That is our number one goal for the whole year. The goal is to cross post with other bands. The goal is to get on shows virtually with other bands. One of the things the Accidentals are doing right now is they're co-writing with everybody under the moon. They're about to put out a whole co-write album with like Kim Ritchie and Dar Williams, and and what they did was they basically decided to write an album with the people that inspired them to be writers. And they went after that. They reached out. They were able to get 2, really good, Gretchen Peters and Kim Ritchie and Tom Paxson. Yeah, Chad, you're right on. All 3 of those guys signed up to write with them, and immediately everyone else wanted to. So it's like you reach out and you get one person to support you like that, and a lot of people will jump on board from that. So I would say the best thing you can do is reach out to the people that you respect, reach out to the people that are at your level as well, and reach out to some people that you want to help kind of like give a boost. And at that point, one of the other things, those Tom at shows that we do on Crowdcast, where we bring in 4 acts and put them in a round, and that is selling. Guys, we're still making $3,500 a show off that. So if you want to make money doing a virtual show, collaborate with other people. Get several people in the round that have draw, and make sure that they're all doing their marketing job of getting the word out to their fan base. Bands in Town is another one I want to bring up really quick, because one of the cool things about Bands in Town is you can literally send out a post to your entire following once a day, and it doesn't cost you a penny, and it actually goes to every single one of them, which I think is huge. we've got 17,000 on X posts on X bands in town, and I can send out a message to 17,000 people every day. Not that they want to hear from me every day, but I could. And the other thing that I've been doing is using Facebook Messenger bot, and that is working really well too. Anyone that's ever messaged you on Facebook, you can send them a quick how you do, and it seems to be working really well. So those are a couple of things that, the goal this year is really to try and figure out how to get the most for nothing, because we don't have that income coming in that we had the last 2 years. So we're trying to figure out, which I used to work for nonprofits, so this is right up my alley, is how to make money from nothing, and support, the artists around you. So if you've got an artist, let's say, Michael, you said you had, an artist who's been around forever and has a built-in following. As a manager, I feel like it's my job to go to that artist and say, who do you want to support this year? How about a couple of younger ones? You're gonna bring them up. Tom Paxton's doing that for the Accidentals. He introduced them to every great writer that's still out there because he feels like it's his job to pass it on to the next generation. Bless his heart. So I feel like it's our job, if we have, artists who have base, to ask them to bring in artists who don't and who are trying to grow that base, and see if they're willing to, give a little back right now, because I think it's, what else are they doing? They have time and they have money and they have focus. Help out somebody else, help somebody come around. So that's our goal for the year, is literally to cross-pollinate everything.
I love those vibes, Amber, and I would say you had some great points on collaboration. I actually reached out to Liz prior to this, and an opportunity came about. She didn't have to respond. It might not have worked out, but now something's going on. And just to touch upon the point of collaborating with, maybe a more established artist, more of a baby band. I mean, I'm even thinking of Barry Gibb from the Bee Gees. He has a new album coming out. I think it's this Friday. And he has, this storied history. If you haven't seen the HBO documentary on the Bee Gees, it's fantastic, by the way. But just this great career in folk and pop and disco and so many different styles. And he's doing this country album, and he's collaborating with the top people in Nashville. And he's got like Brandi Carlile and some of these younger artists. And it's like, it doesn't matter. I think that's a different thing and a special part of the music industry that's different from like Hollywood and film and TV. You do see the collaboration there as well. But with music, it's like, Liz might have some older artists or more established artists, and she has some baby artists too, but some of them might want to cross paths and, bring a new act on to do a duet, or vice versa. And I think that can happen a lot. And I found some phenomenal talent as openers prior to the main act, and I've found them to be more exciting than the headliner sometimes. So collaboration for sure. And my last point on that topic is just that I love that TikTok has that duet feature. One of the sites that I write for is called indiewaves.com. It's with 2 V's. I'll type it in there, indie, WAVVES. And I found this artist on TikTok named Natalie Lane. She's sort of a gospel and spiritual artist, but she did this, she posted a video of a trumpet player that she really likes, and he did a really amazing trumpet part that you would hear maybe not necessarily on the recording, or it wouldn't stand out, but in a live performance, you would really notice that trumpet instrumental portion. And the way that the duet worked out, it's like it just brought this whole new vibe to the song. And we posted that version, and it was fantastic.
Nice.
I'll go. Yeah. My older artists, I do pair with my younger artists. I've been doing that for them to write together. It kind of really works out. I just had one of my younger artists who had some success pair with one of my older artists, and they did an album together, and it landed at number 3 on the UK chart. So that was really cool that we did. And they've been doing that for a year. And I make the younger artists get COVID tests. It's funny because when I first met him, this is crazy how you can meet people in the music business. It's so small, and it's like a big group chat. And I got an Instagram message from a guy. He's like, "Hey, I see that you manage blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "Who are you? What do you want? Why are you in my life?" And he had 250,000 followers. I was like, okay. And he's verified. I'm like, he's legitimate. Looked into him, asked around. And I said, all right, I'll meet you. Where do you live? Down the street. I could have literally rid a bike down the street to the bottom of the hill. And it's crazy. And you really never know where the music industry is going to take you. And now I have my older artists collaborating with the younger artists. And also, you're right, the older artists who have the money, who have royalties coming in, if they didn't sell their publishing, that's another big topic that we probably should talk about at some point. It just, I had two artists who did benefits for music cares. We raised 50 grand a show. It was about 150K each for both. So that was about 300 grand that we raised for younger artists. And we paid every single of those band members, lighting people. We paid for the entire year for them. It's very, very important in this industry to always be nice to people and always compliment people behind their back, because you never know who they're related to. You never know who they know. You never know whose cat it belongs to, or dog. It's very important. Always compliment people. You never know when a camera's on your face. It's very important. You don't want anything to come back to you. But the music industry right now, collaboration is a very key thing. And
Oh no, did everyone else lose Liz too? Okay, we'll continue on.
I can pick up.
Go for it.
I'll pick it up till Liz gets back. I think in the spirit of talking about collaborations, there's two other angles with collaborations that we haven't touched on that are really important for us to recognize.
Right, you always want to be positive.
The first is with Twitch.
And just what happened? We glitched.
We lost you for like 1 minute there.
We can hear you now.
Never mind. Okay, that was a very good speech. Never mind. No. Anyway, like I said, just compliment people behind their back and collaborate as much as you can. Be safe out there. And if your goal is to gain followers this year, then that's your goal. Write down your number one goal. I always ask anyone who consults with me or my business or a new artist, what is your goal? Your goal is to get in Carnegie Hall. Sure, I can make a phone call and make that happen, but you need to show me that you deserve to be there. You have to really put in the work. And I always say, musicians, keep your day job. I know it's really hard to be brutally honest, but find work that can make you money before you become famous. You have to.
Look, do you want to touch on your social media goals for the year? I know you've kind of like blown up on TikTok. So what's next for you?
Yeah. I'll finish the first thought on a couple other collaboration pieces, then I'll get into mine personally. So with Twitch, we've seen some success here in Central New York with some of our regional artists that have built a small following on Twitch doing live shows, but have really started to benefit from the Twitch raids, where when one streamer ends, they send their entire audience directly to you. And so, here was a guy who, was playing for 200 to 300 people a night, and all of a sudden, when it was his record release show, he had maybe 400 local regional fans, but the other Twitch streams that were going knew that it was like his release night. They sent him like 8,500 people, so he was playing to a small hockey stadium for his release show and sold out of all of his physical products that night. So I think one of those goals is familiarize yourself with Twitch for musicians. If you have not done that yet, that should be a goal for every artist this year. And then the other piece of collaboration on TikTok is actually the collaboration with your fans. We haven't really touched on the artists that have music on the platform but don't want to be a personality on the platform. So with the Accidentals having new music coming out, you've got to go through the process of thinking which is the section of the song that we're going to post and make sure that fans can use that. I do a lot of jokes that some would say are dark humor. I've got one hand. And so I wanted a UB40 song today, and the lyric in there is "Take My Hand." And, it would have been hilarious. But they only had the beginning of the song until like 30 seconds in, so the lyric wasn't part of what you could actually use on TikTok. And, we have to be really deliberate with how we slice up that song to say, go through our distributor to make sure that this is the section of our song that's there so that our fans can take the music that we've created and spread it for us. So that collaboration is there. On the TikTok goals for me personally, I am looking at trying to get 1 million followers by the end of 2021. I'm at 126,000 right now. And the million itself doesn't really, if I hit it, I hit it. If I don't, I don't. But at 1 million followers, I should make enough money on the platform that I can make a choice as to whether I want to teach or I just want to go, working some TikTok deals and do some consulting on the side. And I think having that choice is something that is very freeing. Now, I'm not going to stop teaching. I know that. But just to be in a position where you know that you can move left or right is really freeing. And so for any artists, you should look at that as well, not from the standpoint of I need this many followers, but what's going to give me the financial freedom to make moves within my career that are going to keep me satisfied, keep me pushing forward with my art, and still keep a roof over my head, or in my case, an RV with a full gas tank.
Michael, what are some goals that you have this year, or your artists have this year?
Goals this year, definitely to explore more of TikTok and to hopefully see some more live music. I mean, I'm more on the marketing and journalism and promotion side, so I'm also working with a really great YouTube series right now. So I'm writing some scripts on songs and artists that change music, which is really exciting. But I think I don't know if I have all my goals set up yet, Elle, for the year, and I need to get on that. But I was just going to say, for the participants and those listening to the program today, I think what's really important is there's so much stressing on this on the conversation of social media on volume and on how many views and how many followers we have and all of that. And I think that's really important, especially in terms of selling and analytics and getting great deals. But I want to make sure people realize it's still about, as a music journalist and someone that's kind of a critic, it's about the song still. It always will be. So if you're not putting out great content, then you're not going to hit the numbers and you're not going to get great followers. So just keep in mind that there has to be some kind of balance where, you know, you don't just want to put out all your songs. You want to put out the best content. Maybe you could do some fun things where you're like this song or this song and you play a couple different clips. Or this is a chance. This is a tremendous opportunity for artists to get a sense from fans while you can't do as many live shows, like what's working and what isn't. If you don't have a song completely finished, you could even play a section of a song. And I think fans will really appreciate that as you're working something. So I'm just excited about, what is changing in technology and how we can collaborate more, and that's all I have to say on that topic.
Can I piggyback off Michael real quick and just say amen? But the biggest thing, Patreon, when you're sharing all those little things, Patreon is keeping all my artists alive right now, honestly. It's a really great sense of income, and they just rolled out a new feature where you can pay for the whole year up front, so you don't have to do a monthly, which most of my people were griping about having their credit card on file for a monthly donation. Now you can just pay for the whole thing. If it's only $5 a month, it's not that expensive for the year. What's that? What's 5 times 12? Like $60 or something? Whatever. So the point is, if you don't have a Patreon yet, I highly recommend you go get yourself one, and look at that. What he's talking about, like that content, putting out that content and testing the water and seeing what people are into and what they like. It's such a great place to do that. Those 2 albums I'm talking about, they're literally dropping that content every Friday for all the tiers, from $5 to $100. They're dropping that same Friday content so people can kind of start gearing up and getting excited about their first release in January. So that, I think, was a great point.
I know this is like such a broad topic, and we could dive into, we could talk about Facebook audiences for 3 hours. We could talk about Patreon for hours. There's so many different specific things about social media that there's no way we could even begin to touch all of the things. But I hope tonight we started the conversation and we brought up maybe some things that people haven't been thinking about before. And I would encourage anyone who has a question, reach out to these people. They're going to drop their social media handles in the chat here, and hunt them down. And if you have a question, reach out. And also, we can send you resources, and there's a lot of resources on our website, Michigan Music Alliance, for social media. Like Canva is on there and different things like that can help you kind of level up the game. But as kind of a closer for tonight, because we could talk about this all night and I want to keep you guys forever, do you want to go through real quick and just your favorite 2 social media platforms and just why in like a rapid fire? So like if you only were maintaining 2, what in your mind are the most 2 important for either yourself or an artist, because it can vary on the artist. And then, yeah, Liz, do you want to start? We'll kind of buzz through.
Okay, well, for me right now, I tell everyone TikTok is the most important growth platform for sure. If you want to get noticed quickly, if you want to grow an audience quickly, if you want to make some money, hopefully down the line. And someone said, oh, they paid an internet bill with Patreon. Oh, good for you. That's great. And I just think TikTok is, you want to grow quickly, if you want to get your music out there, if you want to get yourself out there and have opportunities come quickly, because everyone wants everything now. They want it now. They don't want it, 2 years from now. So if you put in the work, I highly recommend TikTok. My favorite platform that I'm on all the time is Facebook. I just have to be because of my artist demographic and also the younger artists as well. I just feel like it's so versatile and you can do so many things with it. So many amazing things with it. You can go live, you can do pre-recorded, you can sell merchandise now. It's really cool Facebook shop, and you can link everything to Instagram. And a really cool thing that I found for Facebook ads, if you run a Facebook ad at $100, you can also put it on Instagram and get a 2-for-1. Which is great. So you don't have to pay twice, which is pretty awesome. Put the same content on there. So Facebook, I'm on every day. I'm studying every day. People think that my phone is connected to my hand. It probably is. But if you really want to get growth, go on Facebook, get your followers up now, because when we do start touring, those fans are going to be in seat, socially distanced, of course. So make sure that they are fans that you're happy with. That's also a big thing. You don't want followers that they come to. If you're a violinist and you have like a death metal crowd, it's not going to work out. Don't target those kinds of people. So do your homework and you'll be happy that you did in the long run. I highly recommend. If anyone wants to reach out with any questions, I drop my handle on my website. We do a bunch of other different things. I feel a little bit out of place here because a lot of you guys have younger artists, and my older artists are established, but it is just as hard to get older artists who have had hits, 60s, 70s, 80s, into new. So my whole thing was taking older artists who had hits, who have Grammys, Oscars, so amazing, right? When I first met them, okay, they had 0 followers on Spotify. I was like, what? I don't understand. Like in 2 years, I got them 0 to about 1 million. And because the fans are out there, your fans are out there, you don't even know who they are. If you target them, you find them. If you want to get Spotify followers quickly without paying, run a Facebook ad. Trust me, just do it. Spend $50, target people, put a link to Spotify. You will get a bunch of new listeners every month. It'll be really amazing.
Michael, what about you? What are your top 2 platforms that you recommend and why?
My turn. Even though I think TikTok is the most thrilling right now, I will throw a curveball and say that I actually really still like Twitter a lot. I find it to be, even though I would say Facebook is kind of the phone book for whatever generation this is, Twitter for me, I mean, if I'm at a show or I hear someone's name and I can just type in the name of the artist quickly, and I'm just looking for text and information quickly, I can bam, follow them, and it's pretty easy, and it's nice to find some general information, a link to a website. Just think of it as kind of your passport to the music industry, Twitter, I think. That's where you're saying what you're working on now, and you don't have to watch too many things, but you could put video content. And I would say Instagram, because I just think it's very immersive and there's so much content. I like the hashtag capability. I think you can do more hashtags on Instagram than you can on TikTok. So I find that there's more discovery in a lot of ways on Instagram. And even though I think on most of these we're forced in some algorithm to see what the algorithm wants us to see, I feel like it's a little bit more organic sometimes on Instagram than TikTok. I feel like lately on TikTok, I'm seeing the same 5 songs pop up of things that I've watched, and it's getting, I don't get tired of it, but it's still pretty fun. That's it.
Amber, do you want to go next?
Sure. So I think we blew off the website, but it's pretty important. Just put that out there. I'm a Facebook fan too. I don't know how long it's going to be around for real, but I'm a fan, and mostly because we can niche target it, and I can use lookalike audiences and all the things that help me just for a starting artist to get you started. It's a great place to get you started, and my paying customers are on Facebook. If I host a live stream on Facebook, I am going to see more money than if I host a live stream on Instagram. My Instagram people just do not tip, they don't pay. So I would say Facebook is important for that reason. And then Patreon would be my number two. It has to be, because it's really a great way to share content and make money. But I definitely think if I have to pick another, Instagram would be it, because you can do so many things. And also all the swipe ups to Spotify have been like necessary this year. So that's where I'm at. What you got?
What about
So we're heading into the next, let's say 12 to 18 months where shows will come back. And there's going to be so much content for all of us to capture. And so I really think we're moving into the next 18 months where we have to look at everything that we do from the lens of multimedia storytelling. And I do think my top is TikTok, and the growth that's there, the opportunity for you to have your music out there is huge. The live streaming, I mean, I've been live streaming this on TikTok as sort of a spy cam, where I've got a camera right here going on TikTok, and people are tipping me, even though they can't hear anything because they only hear what I'm saying when I'm talking. Artists are going to get so much more engagement with that as they continue to regularly do that. So I think TikTok is my number one. Number two for me is going to be YouTube. And I think the longer video content is going to be a huge, huge asset for every single artist over the next 12 months. And so show it all off, because we missed it for a year. People are going to have this massive desire for behind the scenes, for the acoustic performance, for the stuff that we all missed. So video is where it's at.
I think the truth is it's all important. It's all important. It just depends on who you are and what's your goal, right? So.
Well, thank you for all the great advice, you guys. I know it's hard to keep it general, and I appreciate that you guys did so and shared some insight with us. If you guys have any more questions, this was going to be recorded and archived on our website, so you can always find it back there if we talk about something that you want to go back to or share it with a friend. But follow these guys on their social media profiles and try TikTok before you talk crap about it. I know that I've had a lot of trouble getting artists to see that it's the platform for them, and you're bored in quarantine and you can make content right now because you're bored in quarantine. So do that, and let us know if you have questions. We're here to help. We all want everyone to succeed. It's collaboration over competition. So let us know how we can help you. And everybody, thank you so much. And we'll see you soon in person, possibly. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.